There are pains we gotta follow, there are pains we cannot run when we're looking down the barrel of a gun. It is not about surviving, either living or you're dying. Stand your ground and never ever be afraid, 'cause we are one. 'Cause we are one. So break your chains, take your ground, make some noise and gather round, 'cause we are one. Yeah, we are one. We stand united. Whoa, whoa. United, together rise and fall, 'cause it's all for one, one for all. Yeah, it's all for one. And we will stand our ground.
Welcome back, everyone, to day number 2 here at the DreamHack Showdown 2019. We just wrapped up our third best of 3 of the day, and yet another team is eliminated in the Copenhagen Flames. They were taken out by Dignitas in a much more straightforward fashion than I think any of us could have predicted. Potter, I was watching the games with you back in the green room, and I know you've been rooting for your girl, Vilga. You believed in her. I believed in her too.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh man, I don't even know. I was watching that match and I was actually very confused. I think I was confused from disappointment, from just sheer shock. I think they just didn't show up, which is so surprising to say because in their earlier BO3 today, they did show up. So it was quite confusing. I mean, Overpass, Kelly V, I kind of hyped that one up and really
Also, in
absent.
the beginning, it felt really even. Dignitas were leading at the beginning, and Copenhagen Flames took it back. But then something happened, and it just felt like they couldn't commit to a bomb site anymore. And yeah,
I think it goes back to show, I mean, we've talked about the structure and the sort of foundation that Dignitas have built together, and at least in this specific BO3, it feels like that came out on top when the other team got flustered. So unfortunately for the Flames, this is it for them, and Dignitas will be moving forward. But of course, we do have to talk about Group B for our last best of 3 of the day. Now, this group was interesting as well. We saw Besiktas moving forward, taking down CLG in that upper bracket final, and now it's going to be a rematch between CLG Red and Forever21 in a best of 3. Potter, what are your thoughts?
You know, I mean, we just watched Forever21 have a pretty good performance on Mirage and on Overpass, and it was due to their sheer aggression. Now, these types of plays, I don't think will work versus CLG Red. Both of these teams are very familiar with each other. We know that Benita recently just got benched off of CLG Red, Kath coming in, taking her spot, so they're so familiar with each other. Benita knows exactly what CLG Red's gonna do, and CLG Red knows exactly what Benita's gonna do. So I don't think we're gonna be seeing those weird flanks going on. However, Benita did do a really good job just playing around with the smokes, and CLG Red love to do executes, love to do set pieces, so if she's able to capitalize once again, hiding behind those smokes, getting those weird kills that take CLG Red off guard, it could bode well for them.
And Melania, I think there's something important to note as well. Yesterday in their loss against Besiktas, one of the biggest reasons was because their star players in both Emmy and Kath were very, very quiet. So, it's going to be very important for them to step up.
Yeah, they have had a very good basis. They were doing great pop flashes for each other, and that made the others get some kills. But Emmy and, they didn't really step up last game, and I really hope for them that this time, in a best of 3 situation, it will be the point, yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look at the map beta right now. And what do you expect that we're going to see? Is it going to be the maps that we have been talking about, the Mirages, the Infernos, the Overpasses?
Yeah. I think it's going to be, for sure, a remove of Train from Forever21, but I don't know.
There we go, Mirage.
Again, Mirage. All right. Maybe an Overpass, a rematch, that would be fun as well.
Ooh, I like this nuke pick from CLG Red. I mean, they know Forever21 couldn't have taken over all 7 maps, right? And CLG Red are actually very proficient on nuke. They played it a lot in Katowice. They played it a lot in Copenhagen games. So it's certainly a map that they're very comfortable on.
All right.
and
Well,
Overpass
based on what you
once
see,
again.
Mirage, Nuke, Overpass, do you feel like there's a shot here for Forever 21? You don't look very optimistic right now.
I don't. You know, that nuke is a nail biter. I mean, this could have gone to all 3 maps. Forever 21 could have surprised CLG Red and perhaps made a running for it. But with nuke being that second map, I think it's going to be a really just a crux on Forever 21.
Well, for those of you guys who may have missed it, we did have a closer look at the players from CLG Red. Let's see what they had to say.
Who is the smartest?
Diane.
I mean, IGL, so I hope so. I'm in-game leading, so I would hope they think I'm like somewhat smart. Otherwise, we're kind of screwed, guys. I don't know. Who enjoys Vertigo the most?
Look at this smoke, bro. Yo, look at this smoke. Yo, bro, this is where Liquid plays. Yo, I watched their demo yesterday.
I'm never ever watching a demo ever again, man.
Who has the worst temper?
Jen.
Sometimes I have a bad temper, but it's only when my teammates are pretty dumb.
Who always shouts Rush B?
Diane. No!
I can't call
Rush B, man.
we rush B.
She calls Suka Blee at Rush B, man.
I say Suka, you're like, oh, hell yeah!
Who here inspires me?
All of them.
Everybody, right? I feel like that's so weird.
All, like, inspire each other to be better teammates.
Yes, yes.
You know, as someone who knows these girls inside and out, must warm your heart to see them giggling like that with each other.
For sure, and I mean, they're such small, tiny humans. You can't help but love them.
Okay, to be fair, you
Everybody is small compared to you.
Everyone is a small, tiny human next to
But
you.
they're extra small, you know. I used to always call them my little gremlins, and you know, they're adorable. I love the camaraderie that they have, and I love that they think Diane is the smartest on their team. She's right. I mean, if they're not behind her, they are kind of screwed.
It's funny because when you used to play with the girls, you were the one leading them. You know, is it weird for you to see that Diane is now stepping into that role, or does that actually make sense to you?
I think it makes perfect sense. You know, Diane was always the player on the team that was always well liked, always well respected, and it's because she's very articulate. She's able to communicate properly and get everyone on the same page that she is. And you know, that's a talent in itself, and I really appreciated that about Diane. And she's got the confidence as well. For such a small human, her confidence is through the roof, actually.
I love that we're taking a look at Jennifer because yesterday we actually saw, despite the fact that they lost, when Emmy and Kath were being quiet, Jennifer actually had a pretty good game herself.
Yeah, she did really well. She performed one of the best at that map, and I think we should take a closer look at her this game as well, because I think she's going to pop off as well.
So based on what you saw yesterday, again, Emmy and Kath not really showing up, that was a disappointment. From Diane's perspective as the leader, you know, what does she need to do to ensure the star players show up today?
I think she's got to set them up for success. I mean, I spoke about their set pieces being really good, and it's because these girls are very practiced. I mean, they practice probably one of the most practiced teams that we have in this tournament, along with Dignitas. And so they've been going to the server, they've been dry running, and they've been hitting it hard. And so they need to show that. They need to show up today. They need to show exactly what they've been working for all this time, because this is it. Someone's going home after this BO3, so this is where it's at.
I definitely agree with you. And earlier when we spoke to Miss Harvey, she called her and her team the CLG Rejects. We'll see if you guys agree. We're going to take a look at a video.
So I ask a question, and then I'll say 3, 2, 1, and then we point. Who's the smartest?
That's kind of easy.
Okay, no 3, 2, 1. We're good enough. Who's the team clown? Yeah. Who enjoys Vertigo the most?
Probably oh my god, really? I hated it. I played one game.
You have to point at yourself. That's the rule.
We love Vertigo. Who always shouts Rush B?
Or IGL.
Rush B! Don't forget the troll flashes. Chain flashes, #1 did it. Yes. Can we add the questions? Fuck yes. Who's the most picky about their food?
I was eating everything in China, so it's
Last one. Who's the youngest?
Oh, you're the youngest.
I'm the baby.
But we're Forever 21.
We're Forever 21.
Well, you guys are all awesome.
You know, earlier when I spoke to Miss Harvey, it was pretty clear that she knew that they are going to be the underdogs. That being said, it did sound like because of that, there was much, much less pressure for her. She did say that she and her team, of course, would love to win. That's always going to be on their minds, but there's no pressure. They're going to go in and try to have fun and frag out.
And speaking of no pressure and fun, I mean, we just heard in that interview that Miss Harvey said Claudia's the biggest troll pretty much, and I have to agree. I mean, but having someone like that on your team, someone who doesn't really get phased under all this pressure and still able to crack jokes and make laughs and kind of lighten the mood a little bit, it really helps to reset your mentality coming into such a serious series such as this. So I think that will definitely be impactful for this lineup, specifically because they're coming in dry. I mean, they don't have very much to lean back on. I mean, Dignitas has that foundation. CLG Red has the set pieces. Forever21, they just have the surprise factor. So having someone like Claudia, I think will definitely bode well for Forever21.
And speaking of Claudia, she was the one that had that amazing 1v4 that we saw in Mirage, Melania. I mean, if she can continue that performance, maybe they have a chance here.
Yeah, they should have at least 2-star players to be able to convince this map. I mean, as Miss Harvey already said in the beginning, like they're gonna really help and try to have Claudia for sure getting the rounds, getting her the flashes she needs, for example, to be able to retake a site. Things like this are very important, and I hope that they will be able to maintain this way up.
We'll see indeed, and I do have to mention that in terms of storylines, the attention must be on CLG Red. After Dignitas had their year-long run where they were clearly the ones on top, there is a bit of a vacancy there for that #1 women's spot. And we did see CLG Red take home that Copenhagen Games title, so they do have this opportunity to really secure themselves in that position, but they need to win here if they need to do that. So what do you think here?
You know, I mean, I 100% agree with you. We spoke about yesterday these teams clawing for their way for that #1 spot to maintain their dominance, and we haven't had any female team doing that so far this year. So CLG Red, they think they're the top, they think they're contending for that #1 spot, and if they think they are, then they've got to prove it here today.
Melania, I'm going to start with you. Who do you predict to take this?
I believe that this will finally be our 2-1 game. We need it today.
I know, 3 straight 2-0.
Yeah,
this is going to be
exactly.
the one.
This will be the one. No, CLG Red, they have, as you said, the foundation, and they should technically win this best of 3.
I have to agree with Melania here for sure. CLG Red. 2-0.
2-0?
2-0.
I'm going to have to agree with Potter here. I'm also going to go with CLG Red 2-0, purely out of the fact that despite the fact that we saw Benny absolutely exploding earlier today, that type of aggression, CLG Red know extremely well. So I just don't think it's going to work on them, but we'll see. But for now, let's see if Twitch chat agrees with us. And it looks like they do. CLG Red ahead with a whopping 67%. And now let's head over to our commentary duo. It's Harry Pansy, which I'm not gonna lie, guys, doesn't ring as true as Harry Potter does.
Do you want me to leave? Like, what?
I'm just, listen, Lauren, I like to be honest. I like to be a transparent person, and that's what I'm gonna tell you. It just doesn't ring as well.
I'll work on it. How can I be Potter 2.0? Like, can I just take the name?
Or
Does
should
that
I
work?
change my name to fit Pansy better? I don't know what goes with Pansy
much,
though.
not
Yeah,
much.
you're
Really
the
not
one
much.
who's screwing us
Well,
here. There's
great,
the,
thanks.
Why don't you guys think about that during this best of 3? Take it away.
Nice, just real casual flame and then just
I know,
vanishes.
yeah, and then they go, and now they know that you can't say anything either.
Yeah, it's
So
really rude, but-
that is like the ultimate BM.
Yeah, it is. But honestly, I'm going to be really honest about this matchup. It gives me so much excitement to cast this one. I used to love watching CLG Red during their various stages. You know what I mean? Like whether it be during Miss Harvey's era when you had Claudia coming in and she was that kind of like unknown firepower, and you had Potter on the AWP when she used to be a relevant player, not just this flaming person on the desk who was very rude. Pretty encouraged by
Oh,
Mix.
so you have like a real beef with Potter now? She
Yeah,
used
yeah,
to be.
yeah,
So
no.
you have okay.
No, yeah.
Well,
don't do this. She's next to us. Shut up.
She's
Shut
the
up.
Potter.
She's right here,
and
dude.
Without her,
Shut
I'm
up.
just Harry. So Potter,
Okay.
you feel much more qualified here. You're the glue that links these teams together, and you're going to cast this one with Lawrence. So you can squash that
What?
beef.
I get to cast with this dude. I'm getting real embarrassed, dude. Like I can't handle this.
Lauren. No.
At least I got a mute button. I can at least like quieten her down. This is the main thing. I can look if I need to cut her if I can.
Christine, this is such a pleasure to cast with you too. What a prospect this is.
I know.
We have basically your ex-teammates. You vanished to the desk, and this is what's left. You ruined everything.
I know, this is definitely going to be an exciting one. I mean, I was definitely teammates with majority of the players in this server right now, so it's such an honor to be here to be able to cast this in such an important series as well.
Like, let's kind of take that into context then, because I think we all know that, you know, Miss Harvey's been around there, you know, Claudia's been on the team, but, you know, Benny's been there too, Mask has been around the scene, Bouchard, all of these players have kind of been around that same band time of players. I guess Emmy's still one of the newer additions to this sort of era, I guess?
Definitely. I mean, Emmy, when she joined the team, she was 15, barely turning 16 years old, and we've already got action coming in. A nice split from Forever21, and Bouchard is already pushed all the way through CT spawn.
I do not know what on earth just happened to that T-hit. I know it's going to be disjointed and pretty firepower-based, but that's kind of insane. In it is Benny, and I will call you Benny. Don't change your name on me now. That is rude. It's a 1v3, and look, Benny can be one of those players who can go off. We know it's one of those things when you have a firepower player that you have to put in the right place to be able to excel. This is pretty tough.
Absolutely, but you know what? She has a 1 minute left, almost full HP, and she's picked up that USP. So this is certainly doable, but after that gush, it definitely gets harder and harder. Yeah, you know, Forever21, they had a good idea, a good set piece. They sent 3 players lower B, and they had a nice split up that connector, but CLG Red were playing retake A. I mean, I believe they pushed towards that A ramp, and they were able to just easily kind of pick off Forever21 as they were making it into the site.
I guess the one unknown to me is Goose Breeder being on this roster, because I've seen kind of the same-ish lineup, you know, I guess Kath as well. That was before I really started to watch, you know, the female CS scene, but I'll come back to that in a second, because it looks like a bit of mid-aggression for Kath, speaking of, and look who's waiting at the top of mid. You have all players present. Could be overwhelmed here. Yeah, those P250s at the range are going to thrive, and actually, this ain't it, Chief. This is actually a bit of a sloppy round here. They've lost out on 2 against pistols.
Yeah, and that's just not good enough. I mean, these are just pistols. Kath with that aggression in mid. And, you know, I don't mind the aggression in mid, but you've got to take a couple shots, fall back, and allow your scout in that window room to tag up some members before you retake that fight again. So you really have to juggle that aggro, and Kath did not play that correctly at all. But we have 3 members here. Oh, no, Emmy.
Why does this feel like CLG Red with Potter in the roster? You're hoping it goes well, and then it's down to Diane to save the day. Goose Breeder's on the other side. She ain't even on the team during that era, but now it's going to be Di, basically, in a bit of a tricky spot. Really nice angle to work from, and I feel as though Di is going to be calm under pressure. We know that Mask can be good, but Goose Breeder turns up at the perfect time, supports it, but that was a costly round. 3 losses. It wasn't as clean as I'd like to see, and I think that's where the danger's going to really appear against CLG Red.
Exactly. I mean, once you start chipping away and just frag after frag, it starts building your confidence, it starts building up the idea that I think we can, you know, and once you start thinking of I think we can, and things start falling into place, you've got to be really careful if you're CLG Red at that point.
I'm scared when we start to see Benny and Claudia kick off. Like, those two, when they have a good game, just terrify me. I still think Claudia is just absolutely nuts at this game. I don't think we've seen the best of Claudia yet.
So I have to agree with you there.
If she has one of these good tournaments or one good map here, you'll start to see what she can bring. Now, it's going to be just that all-in, straight-up B hit. There is a late lurk in mid. We'll come to that later because the hit's coming through. Already a bit of a trade-out. Jennifer is up on short, but a really powerful hit. Those trades didn't even have the chance to come through for CLG Red.
They definitely didn't. And you know what? I really love this from Forever21. It was the 3rd round in. They understand CLG Red just lost so many members on that side and that anti-eco. So they just do a simple contact play towards B, understanding that they have minimal needs. And this is going to work out perfectly for Forever21. This post-plant position is so difficult for CLG Red to retake on.
I can't wait to just even consider those mental games coming through between these guys. But the retake is underway. That's a really good start. But Miss Harvey swings into action. Tag on the follow-up. It puts it all down to Bouchard. And what a pickup from Goose Breeder. Big addition. The defuse, though, I think Kath has a kit at least. But that's a little close, but it does come in the end. That was a very crisp retake that I genuinely didn't think was going to come off.
I really didn't think that would happen either. You know, they were all in optimal positions for Forever21 side. I think after Steph got that refrag, she needed to just kind of chill behind that backside pillar. It wasn't really necessary for her to take that fight towards Get Right, towards that cat player. She could have just kind of stayed alive. And that really punishes Forever21. But you know what? It's okay. Only 2 players remain for CLG Red. Forever21 are doing a good job keeping CLG Red's economy really tight here. As long as Forever21 are able to get 1 round on the board and string some together, quickly, all of a sudden, CLG Red are going to have to eco.
Yeah, it does feel a bit of a knife's edge at the moment, and I'm liking seeing that amount of pressure coming out from Forever21. It's easy to feel that you're super on the back foot against a structured team, but as we can see, blow for blow, you know, pound for pound, these two teams are actually pretty well matched, at least for now. I feel as though eventually you've got to see CLG Red clawing ahead because they simply have more to fall back on. But look at this little mid-take here. Diane's fallen all the way back towards CT, allowing Claudia and Benny a good amount of room to work through connector. You have Miss Harvey towards window, and Mass can split out through Palace. This is actually pretty hard to hold. You have one player towards Dark, that's Goose Breeder, but with CT going down, they're out on an island. Goose Breeder up to the top, they're gonna get one, not good for another. Die is there, ready to go, but the trade's so good for the T's.
That is so good indeed, and kind of unfortunate for Goose Breeder. I believe she turned for a flash, waiting for a flash from her teammate that never actually came. So really unfortunate timing for them, but Forever21, such strong openings coming into this, and we're down to a 2 versus 1 with Emmy. She has that kit, but she's not gonna stick the bomb here.
Nice try, but this I like the simplicity of what Forever21's doing. It's not super, you know, intricate. Like if you look at Dignitas, they were pulling like double fakes on Mirage, and it was actually pretty sick to watch. This is just nice side hits, finding room in through middle. And as you said, you know, as soon as they get that round on the board, the money for CLG Red was going to be kind of broken, and that's what we're seeing now.
Absolutely. I mean, we spoke about the money being broken, but it does look like they did force buy, and they fully invested into this round. So this is going to be a pivotal round going into this first half.
They got to get something out of it. Mass seems aware there's going to be maybe a little bit of CT-sided aggression. Not a bad read at all. Equaled out damage, but Mask had a lot more to lose in that, but kept her cool. Now we do see in the meantime, Kath did catch off Claudia, so we are still in that 4v4, but I'm looking towards where the T's are taking this. If it does split towards A, you've got Diane and Jennifer still kind of at the forefront of this, and they still only have those deagles. They have limited amounts to play with. So even though it is a 4v4, they can easily get overwhelmed, especially with that utility. But Diane, a little bit of a late round play, that could have been so big. That would have been such a big pickup. That was the bomb spotted, and success in middle for Jennifer. Huge boxes being ticked here for the CT side in a situation they shouldn't be able to get away with, but the Molotov's buying time. They're putting pressure towards Forever21, who seems to have hit a bit of a brick wall of success here.
Absolutely, and I really liked the fact that Forever21 kind of paused and slowed things down a bit, but at the same time, they were a little bit too spread out. We had Benita pushing, solo pushing towards that connector, gets picked off by Jennifer, and that's really punishing because now they're down members, really low on HP. One thing that is boding well for them, they have full set of utility here, but Diane with the headshot with that deagle, that makes it a lot more difficult.
And they're going for seconds. Max has gone through. The flash is so good, but they still succeed. Here's that playthrough connector as well. Down to the 2v2. Kath already came through CT to support Diane earlier. The tag, one more bullet would have done it, but they're both pretty much one-shots here. Mask is low, as is Miss Harvey. And now with the bomb being planted, oh, Kath just overextended a touch, but Emmy, can you pull off the 1v1? Oh. Yes, you can. What a moment for Emmy to come through there against the classics, against two players who just stepped up pretty big for Forever21. But you got to think that economy investment from CLG Red was everything they had.
It really was. So it definitely pays off for them to be able to invest fully into that round. But you know what? They're not in the safe space yet. They are still quite low on that money. Only Emmy surviving for CLG Red side of things. So they certainly have to be a little bit more clean. They've got to clean up their plays, clean up their setups in order to build up some economy, because right now I don't think Diane can even afford a knock. No, looks like we've got 3 SMGs on the board and 2 rifles. So this is definitely a poor buy for CLG Red. And with Forever21's aggression so far in this half, I think this is going to
have pace.
Yeah.
This has got real pace. Look, it's already out towards side. Goose Breeder's done really well. Very well played out. Surprised that she got away with that much, and that's 3 kills, and that's not even played in Jennifer yet. Jennifer gets swept aside so quickly, it's almost irrelevant, but they are down to 2 players. Is it retake time? Diane's on the big flank, that's perfect. Emmy does not need to overextend here. If she gives us up, that's a lot of room for the T's to play towards. But for now, they still only have that Mac 10 on Benny, so it's not ideal. But Emmy, big bit of timing play, feeling out the game well, comes back in, and Forever21 do get humbled down a little bit here. Kind of that quick pace, you're not going to get away with it. Goose Breeder holding CT then was perfect.
Absolutely, and you know, I wish Miss Harvey kind of pushed her chances and pushed her luck there towards that CT spawn, because she did in fact tag up Emmy, but unfortunately she has to reload behind that triple box all alone, and Emmy punishes her for it.
And in a pause like this, you know, you've been the IGL for a number of these players on both sides. I mean, you've had IGLs from both teams, you've been the IGL on both sides. What are the discussion points here? What are you just trying to go over?
I mean, at this point, if I'm Steph, I'm letting the girls know that, hey, listen, we're doing an okay job. I mean, last round, CLG Red, we're down to 3 SMGs. They don't even have an op. It's obvious that we're keeping their money very low right now. So we are doing our job. We just need to clean it up and close out these rounds. They've gotten the bomb down as well almost every single round. So all of these signs point to that Forever21 are getting into these bomb sites. They're making things happen. They just need to tighten it up a little bit.
I want to start looking at Claudia and Benny to start having one of those games as well. If you're getting the plants, it comes down to individuals at the end, and they're the players you want to really come alive. Diane, quick aggression and absolutely dribbles it. That's not what you want to be seeing.
That is not what you want to see at all.
What's going on, Di?
But Benita, I wouldn't doubt it if she pushes through this smoke on that catwalk. Benita's so known for her timing, and she does indeed push that smoke into that ladder room. It's really going to be up to her to be very patient here, and Jennifer's so well played, getting that one quick frag and just falling back off into a more passive position, but here we go, Benita getting rewarded for her aggression once again.
I love the way you're reading the plays more than CLG Red are. That almost worries me. Maybe pull her back in, get a coach, and when she's done casting. But for now, there are 3 players left up for the T side. Let's see if they can actually keep that kind of individual power up, actually play as that collective. It's not going to be easy. Goosebreed has been a real detriment to their progress. And let's look at that bomb. It's still on Miss Harvey's back. Mask is holding down the site as best she can. Emmy's on that slow play through CT. There's Goosebreeder again, perpetually being a nuisance. Claudia, unaware of the full situation, still looking towards Cat, but she can again pick up that role. But does Goosebreeder have a bit of an idea of this? No, the timing's off. They might be misreading this or maybe just going for a late information play, but this is a very weird read. Considering now Miss Harvey's going to get a free plant, Claudia's going to be in a wonderful position, and the after plants have got to be good here.
They have got to be good, and this is patience from Forever21 paying off hugely, because after Goosebreeder gets that 1 kill, she doesn't see anything else. She doesn't hear anything else. So at that point, the process of elimination tells them that it's B, but in fact, it is A, and now Miss Harvey is down to that 1 versus 2 scenario. That bomb, it is her teammate. We can view this as a 2v2. This is absolutely doable for Miss Harvey. It's going to be really important for her to get a clean first kill here and allow that bomb to keep ticking.
Oh, there you go, tick in the box. Can she get the second time? It's ticking, and she's done it against the old teammates. Maybe bittersweet, but for now it's certainly sweet to the taste. 2 kills in such a pivotal moment, finally pulling it off. It felt a little bit of a weird read from CLG Red to go over towards B, but as you said, maybe Goosebreeder getting a bit of a weird kind of vibe from that no one else was around.
Yeah, that they just jumped the gun there. I mean, there was about a 3-second delay, and Goosebreeder just thought, oh, surely it has to be B, so she probably made that audible call, and they pre-adjusted and rotated a little too early for that. But man, Miss Harvey, that 2 versus 1, she played that to almost as perfect as she possibly could, and she absolutely gets rewarded for it.
Now let's see what the CT side do. Money, weird spot. You've got Diane at least on the AWP, sure. Cath, decent. You've got Goosebreeder up on the buy, but then you've got Deagle, 570. It's not what you want, and so little utility to play with. Your retakes become harder. That slowdown of pace of the T side becomes more tricky. You can see the T side happy to take their time here. Work out that economy, get them away from that little they had, but Cath could deliver massively up from above. Almost going to Batman, maybe a little preemptive on the trigger there. Patience can be a virtue. She's going to fall off that one. Information has been found, but I don't know how much you can really take away from that.
Definitely so. And speaking a little bit more about what you're mentioning, Lauren, about the economy, I mean, this really goes back down to that second round where 3 of the SMGs from CLG Red side were a little overzealous and a little over-aggressive, and they lost out on that economy, but you know what? These are some nice frags from Jennifer. A nice little 1 dig and peeking towards that lower.
Casual.
Yeah, so casual indeed.
Yeah, but it still has to come down to the side,
She's
right?
good for 1 more here, too.
You reckon she's got 1 more in the bag? She's got 12 HP. All right, Potter's got faith. Biggest Jennifer fan in the world.
Oh, this boost. She hears it.
Oh my god, she is good for 1 more. Is there more in the tank? No. Finally down. Maybe you do know what you're talking about. Who knows? 2 left for the T's. No bomb plant to be had, and all these angles are suddenly very unsafe. No easy plan for Miss Harvey. She wants to find a bit of room to work, and she pushes CT. That's not a bad idea. Did not expect the second. And now it's just going to be Benny left in the 1v2. Quick bit of aggression towards CT, and she needs it. No time to be had as Emmy came around at the perfect time. It was a long way around as well.
It definitely was. Emmy biding her time, her patience really paying off. That flank, that's something that you just don't expect. And so Benny played it as best as she could, but Emmy, really nice timing from her part. But once again, we're in a scenario where CLG Red are struggling on that economic side. And we've got a lot of SMGs out. We've even got a P90 out on Emmy's side. But
the girl gamer gun is here, Christine. We're all hyped to see it.
You know what, though? Emmy is playing towards that B, and with those 50 bullets on this anti-echo.
Cath could make some real money here. Last time around, it didn't go so
One's
good.
in connector.
They're behind. behind you, dude. What is going on? This round is really messy, but it's kind of worked out.
It has kind of worked out. That top mid smoke really helping out Kath a little bit. What a shot from Matthew.
That was pretty nice. But that round scared me a little bit. It makes me nervous. Like, Kath just seems like just untamed. You know what I mean? You just send her in and she just goes a little too wild sometimes, but it worked that time.
It did work that time. I mean, they definitely had the upper advantages in the weapons themselves. And you know what? The money is starting to build on CLG Red side of things. And now we have an op coming out on the T side from Miss Harvey. And you know, she's been on fire actually today with that op. Very impactful, so. Oh, and that was Diane's smoke that she threw herself. She's expecting that Molly.
Oh,
Molotov.
but look at that. That's such good timing. Fortunate timing for Kath. I don't know who flashed for it. It might have been Goose Breeder from A, potentially. I'm really not sure. Whoever set up Kath then, it worked so well to take out Miss Harvey. It allows you so much more room. But Emmy does need to find a bit of a path here. There's 3 players coming away, and this could be a huge couple of kills. That P90 at Gold Gamer Gun, only good for 1, but Jennifer shows them how it's done, almost following up with the double. The site looks a little bit vulnerable, and maybe there's a plant to be had, but timing is going to be a factor. Claudia's running out of it as 2 players towards Kitchen start to get closer and closer. Good Molotov from the CT side.
You know, I was going to say this round is still completely doable for Forever21, but Claudia needed to quickly plant the bomb there. The bomb site was completely clear. They killed off the 2 defenders at B, but now at this point, they're kind of getting constricted. Bomb is not planted, so it's going to come down to really nice shots.
Yeah, and Claudia, HP so low, doesn't have much room for error, and I think she knows it. Running out of bullets and chances, 45 seconds. She sees them, she knows where they are, but she has to somehow get the shots. It's not going to happen. Goose Breeder delivers the final line as CLG Red really starting to build here. This looks like a way better scoreline. I don't think it tells the full picture of how close Forever21 were in some of these rounds, but for CLG Red, this has to feel good for them. It's just get that big lead, get those younger players still getting super confident, start them feeling out the game. And for Forever21, the money's in a bit of a tricky spot. They can get a purchase, they'll be fine, but it's an 8-2 scoreline. It's not fun.
Yeah, definitely indeed. And Forever21, I mean, as I mentioned, that was the first round that Miss Harvey's pulling out that op on that T side of things. So it is a little bit concerning that they decided to do a contact quick B rush with that op. It would have been a little bit better, I think, if they allowed Miss Harvey to go around and try to get some picks, try to see what she can do with that op, buy some time, draw out CLG Red's utility. They did choose to do that contact B play, and you know what? It almost paid off for them, but unfortunately, they did not plant that bomb.
Yeah, it seems like that was actually a pretty huge element of what kind of happened to this. Now, it does seem as though we do see pistols, DZs, even the Tech 9. What a throwback that is. But here we go. Probably going to be a bit of a B here. Let's see if they have any success. If they get guns away here, that's still impressive, honestly. I don't think much is going to happen. Emmy and Kath are there. Good nades, good utility usage from the CT side. Time being caught. The flashes didn't really catch Emmy at all. One did make it towards the side, but Emmy, calm, collected. Kath joins in. It's a shutdown. CLG Red looking incredibly strong now.
That was incredibly strong indeed. Emmy, what an adjustment in her crosshair placement to finish off that 3rd kill for herself. Unfortunate for Forever21, as you mentioned, Lauren, that flashbang, it really didn't do much. I think it was a little bit too high and a little bit too far. That is one of the issues that a lot of players, newer players, have with the flashbangs over the wall towards that B. Usually you're just running and jumping towards, and it just goes too far. That flashbang, that $200 you just invested, almost becomes useless.
And now, mid-take completely for free. This is a big misread from CLG Red, or the perfect read for Forever21. Huge stack towards A from CLG Red, and a quick B hit Diane. It's do or die time. You've got players left, right, center. They're all coming towards the side. She needs to stick to an angle and just hope for the best. She has no help on the way. Oh, no! Are you kidding me? 2 huge kills. Saving the day for CLG Red. Bring it to a 3-on-3. Now the pressure is on everyone else.
Diane, what shots to kind of recover, because those 2 misses, I thought surely she would be punished for that, but really nice for her to recover from that. But this is a post-plant 3 versus 3 scenario, Lauren. Forever21 should have this in the bag.
Should. Claudia trying to find an angle, though. She missed those first couple of shots. She does land it eventually, takes a lot of damage. The 2v2 starts to look favorable as Kath left down to the 1v1, but time is a factor, and Benny is just playing it like a champ. Swings out, takes the fight, wins it. And Forever21, I don't know how they just decided to B hit time, and CLG Red were like, let's stack A, but it worked so well.
It definitely did, and man, Diane, she's got to be kind of punching the table there for missing those first 2 shots, because these last 2, if she was able to recover from that, those first 2 shots, this could have been an ace.
She's not Potter, all right, calm down. Diane, the little gremlin, not the big
little
one.
gremlin, not
Different.
the big one.
Kath going on the aggress in mid was something we've become kind of accustomed to. And sadly, the T's, they looked so blind, but apparently Kath just gets found. B as it may, the hit still comes through. This looks like a pressure towards B as Emmy needs to be ready for this. And again, Emmy is so good at that. Just holds so steady, and Jennifer is there to help.
She certainly is, and I think Forever21's timing here was a little unfortunate. Those Cat players weren't quite up yet. They didn't have any sort of distraction, and so those two B players coming out of those tunnels were just on an island on themselves.
That's not bad though. That's an opening towards A. The problem is the bomb's not recoverable in any easy manner. That's over by B apartments, but this could still get deadly. I get scared when I see situations like this because I've seen CLG Red in the past, and this is the round that they somehow lose. You're not with them anymore, so I mean maybe that's changed up here because you know Diane's the in-game leader. She's fine. She's good. She's got this. Look at this. Look at this confidence.
You know what? Forever21, they need to be patient here. They need to make CLG Red start getting paranoid about the flank factor, but it looks like they're just going to try to challenge here, and Diane is just too quick.
Diane's just showing off. She's just having a game now. This is nice to see. The bomb still being...
We spoke about Claudia being the troll in the pregame, but we forgot to mention about Diane as well.
you can't underestimate Diane, dude.
Definitely not. And you know, as I mentioned once again, Forever21, and as you mentioned, Lauren, they were in an okay spot. Things could have gotten a little dicey for CLG Red. And I think if Forever21 just took a little bit longer, maybe 10, 15 seconds, start making CLG Red start panic a little bit, get a little bit paranoid, get a little bit in their head, make them worry about that CT spawn flank factor, then attack. But unfortunately, they went just a little bit too early.
This looks like it's got some pace on it towards A. I don't know if the spot was seen at the start there by Jennifer, but it doesn't matter. Already swinging out, and this is just absolute domination. Shut down, barely making a snap towards this round for Forever21. Benny can make but a step, and it looked a little bit kind of short-lived there.
It definitely did, and we spoke about this match being a lot closer than the score shows. We're already at 11-3 in the first half, Lauren. This is kind of out of control for Forever21.
I'm a little worried. Look, it's good news for CLG Red. Like,
Definitely.
do not get me wrong, this is a really good sign for them. But for Forever21, you see those moments where you're like, oh, this could be big, but they've kind of shot themselves in the foot a couple of times because I just feel there's more to be seen from them. But again, they are a mix. They've come into this, you know, doing what they can. They've been playing together. Obviously, they've got a lot of history, but still, it's hard to take on this fully fledged team who practice so much. Now, the mid-aggression didn't work out this time for CLG Red. It's going to be that A hit again, but Goose Breeder has been steadfast at holding this. Diane's been doing really well, and there we go. It's Jennifer to find the first, cutting off the flank from Claudia. The side hit comes in, but it's an after-plant with 4 players alive for the T's.
It definitely is, and I think, and Benita gets picked off by Kath and Diane getting 2 quick picks. Now it's a 2 versus 5 all of a sudden post-plant scenario for Forever21. This was completely doable. I'm not sure why they wanted to push into connectors so early on in the round, but Mass Q with a huge 2K.
Oh my god.
That got spicy.
That got a little close. Wait,
yeah.
Hello? Don't do that. Don't do that. You were doing fine. 12-3. Speaking of doing fine, this is a really good performance from CLG Red. Let's see if it continues into that second half.
We will stand our ground.
Hold on to a note. The man gets rich and I'm still broke. I try and pay my way, but it's getting harder every day. Money talks, I'm listening. It's so hard to earn your keep. Too many credit card receipts. So much joy the plastic brings. My surname's faded, but the till still rings. And I don't take risks, I pay the tax, but I don't seem to get nothing back. I can't hold on to a note. The man gets rich and I'm still broke. I try and pay my way, but it's getting harder every day. I had the money told.
12-3 is a scoreline. The initial start, it felt like it could have gone, a little bit here, a little bit there. There were moments where we saw Forever21 having that potential, and then it stopped.
Yeah, I think they just kind of fell apart. I mean, Bonita just kept trekking on, but I feel like the other members of Forever21 kind of fell off a little bit there towards the end of that half. But you know what? Brand new half, second half, Pistols, it all comes down to this.
They asked about B rushes. Are we seeing it right now? Straight in towards B. Rashad Maskew is there, and this Harvey's there. This is a little bit basic, and it's not working out for CLG Red. Don't walk into this lightly, girls. It may look like a good half, but you win that pistol, you run through the next 3 rounds, let's say, because they didn't get the plant, and then you get that first gun round. Suddenly, we're back at a match. Now,
that was clean.
That was clean.
All 5 members from Forever21 staying alive there, and these were just so many headshots across the board. Definitely not what I expected, but I also don't understand why CLG Red decided to full-on rush B there. Maybe a little overconfident in their 12-3 half.
I just really appreciate that Diane has given us a game. It's so kind. She's like, all right, Potter's on the, she's casting. I've got to give her some time.
And you know what? CLG Red fully invest into this round. They've put all their eggs into the second round, forced by basket. You know what, though? I kind of like it. CLG Red are known for their pistols. They're known for being able to pull rounds like this out of the bag. So I like it. The confidence, it's definitely showing through.
I guess you got to show that you're in it to win it right now.
Send a message, Lauren, Let them know.
Let them know. Well, right now they're being, told that your pistols aren't cutting it just yet. But the aggression from Benny, that could have backfired one way or another. They do now get the bomb. They get it all, right? That's kind of a GG moment, unless Goose Breeder does something pretty magical. And maybe she has room to do it. She picks up the gun. She has the armor. And she has potentially, if she's aware of it, a shot towards the player in CT. Now, that's if it all goes right, and it doesn't. That's the more likely situation that happens. Diane's got a bit of a flank, but again, I don't see 4 kills out of it. No, but you know what? It's okay. She has 40 seconds left in the round. Diane's objective here is not to win the round. It's to get as many kills on the board as possible and control Forever21's economy, but no! You hate to see it! Oh, that's a feels bad. And sometimes Lauren, those shots from this, she knows it too. She's laughing about it. And sometimes, if the choices are you cry or you laugh, you just gotta laugh it off, I feel like you've been in those situations, Christine.
I have. I'm not going to lie to you.
the roll back to the playing time. But to be fair, I know it's a weird silver lining mistake, but Emmy being just super chilled. So I honestly bring this up. I don't like to be personal about it, but I remember you guys at an event, I think it was a DreamHack at some point out in Sweden. She was super down, super, head hung low. Now, obviously they went up 12-5, but she looks like she's becoming that well-rounded player that you when you first saw her, you're thinking, look, when she gets it going, when it finally all slots into place, she's going to be a hell of a player. Absolutely, and I love that about Emmy. I mean, did you see her recovery from the fist bump thing on Twitter? It was good. That was a nice recovery from Emmy, so she definitely has that positive factor about her, but this round, Maskew, this is all up to you. No, don't mess this up. Oh no, they've traded into this. Oh, this flank from Bonita. Got such a big spot to play here. Gonna speed up the pace. Maybe could have taken time, but maybe just wanted to get the kill, get the man advantage real quick. Miss Harvey's coming up on short. Rashad through kitchen. There's not that many angles they can really succeed from, and surely it'll be dealt with. That was a costly round, though, and a bomb plant? That ain't bad. It definitely was, and that's not bad indeed. And, you can always count on Bonita to flank and close out the round, I suppose. So that was certainly a really good flank from Bonita, and I like to see the aggression, the confidence coming out of her. We spoke about her being so aggressive in her series and earlier in the day, and if you remember in the round prior to, she pushed down that A ramp, was able to pick off Emmy, who had the bomb, so these pushes are rewarding her a little bit, Lauren. So, but if you're CLG Red, surely how much are you going to be able to pay attention to knowing who you're playing against, right? You feel like, okay, it's Benny left. Are you going to be able to think about in those moments? Genuinely, can you take the time to do that, or are you just going to have to treat it like any other player in these situations? You certainly can, actually. I mean, those kinds of communications are always said. It's Bonita left, we know she plays here, or X or Y. These kinds of communications do happen consistently throughout the game. So I'm sure they actually did know that Bonita was one of the players left alive, but unfortunately, things got a little bit too spicy in that B-bomb site. But here we are back down to a 5 versus 5 scenario, a minute and a half left in the round. And it looks like they're setting up for this mid-B execute once more. Yeah, I'm looking at Diane here. Considering she's the only one with the smoke to put into play and actually get towards the site if they want to do it, I guess she'd be the one to kind of instigate that as your IGL. But the CT side still has loads of utility left. They've got Molotovs. I guess, if anything, the B site...
Oh, Kath, this is going to be huge.
If Kath can do this, that's real nice. The second? There's a second down there. Oh my God, Benny, what a disaster that's been. But there's players on this B side. They're not going to leave.
CLG Red need to stop.
Why are they committing here? Oh no, they're running into absolute disaster. They just got back to a 3v3. They had it all going on for themselves. They could have pulled back from this, but they've depended on Goose Breeder, and maybe she's up to the task. They've taken over the site. It's all been stabilized, but that was on a knife's edge.
Yeah, and thank goodness that they recover from this, because they preemptively went towards that B. Kath did such a great job punishing Forever21 by clearing that A ramp. At this point, they just need to pause, recollect themselves, allow Forever21 to just start rotating, over-rotating, regroup, and hit a site together. Play it safe, you know? But thankfully, they are able to recover. They do have that bomb down, and they're up 13-6 now, Lauren.
I feel like once you get to 13, you don't feel like the game's yours yet, but you start feeling like, okay, we're over that 12 round mark. I don't know why 12 always felt so hard to get past sometimes, but it's just like, that's the one that you're like, okay, we're closer now. Like, forced and unforced errors, surely you can kind of grind out the rest. But still, it does seem as though there's a couple of bits and pieces where you look at CLG Red and go, if Forever21 maybe were able to capitalize on that, they could have done something. But I've got to say, Benny's going to be kicking herself about that kill as well.
100%. I got to agree with you. CLG Red definitely need to tighten things up, because not only do they have to win this series today, but they've got the semifinals tomorrow, the grand finals, and DreamHack Open Rotterdam coming up. So they need to start taking these rounds a little bit more seriously and figure out how to be more clean, polish up your play, make sure that you're taking all the advantages that are given to you and just capitalize.
This is a really good read from the CTs. Yes, they're on a very low buy, but a really nice read, but Goose Breeder doesn't care. There's still damage to be done, but it's not much unless Benny can do something magical with that Deagle, and it doesn't happen. Vestavio's left pretty much over on her own towards A with the AWP, that's fine. It was a nice little stack, it was a good little idea. It doesn't really pay off to the extent they'd like. Bit of damage done, sure, but CLG Red will walk away with 14 rounds beside them.
They definitely do, and you know, Miss Harvey has a little consolation prize. She's able to save that up, pick that up. So that bodes well for them going into the next round, but at this point, Lauren, I don't know if it's a little too late. 14-6, that is a huge deficit to have to come back from.
Yeah, it is, and I don't know. This is when it becomes an issue to be the mix, because you don't have that depth, right? You can't just sit there and go, okay, well, let's do that constructed mid-aggression that we really like to pull off. Let's, try and get everything in the right place. It's harder. It's not an easy kind of fallback plan, and Kath's actually hunting this out pretty close. Miss Harvey, quick as a whip, though, not going to let that fall.
And once again, that's just not good enough, Lauren. I hate to harp on it, but Kath is down to 44.50 in her economy. And yeah, certainly you're up 14-6, but as I said, you want to start learning how to polish up your plays and start making more optimal decisions, not only for yourself, but for the longevity of your team. And so losing out, just giving a free kill like that, it's just not worth it.
I mean, I was speaking to Zaz about how Besiktas have looked recently, and for me, they look like finally they've had to kind of step up as that team, polish out all those small errors, because everyone else stepped up. You can't just be that individual powerhouse anymore, and they look terrifying. And that's not even half the teams that are left in this. So, I mean, it's just a bit of a tale of the times, but we do see a bit of an interesting play here. A lot of presence and a lot of pressure towards B, but there's still 2 players towards Palace, so
this is going to be a fake-to-fake, Lauren.
It's the double pump,
it's the
as
double
Chad
pump.
likes.
Yeah.
Chad loves to call it that, the double pump. I don't know if I like it.
This is going to be a fake-to-fake. I think this is going to work out so well for CLG Red. Jennifer's already pushed up towards this marketplace, and this is perfectly fine, but oh, why are they making so much noise, Lauren?
Dude, it's great hearing you say this. I mean, it is a little questionable, and so is that. Kath looked a little bit unnoised, and maybe the comms weren't that clear here, because they looked like they kind of lost that focus, that attention. Maybe having Jennifer getting so far towards Kitchen, having so much presence, kind of put them off guard here, and Claudia doesn't have to, break a sweat to pick that one up, and no trade available, nothing left for Emmy. This looked sloppy again from CLG Red, and yes, they are leading, but we can be critical of these rounds because they are said to be the heavier favorite here.
They absolutely are said to be the heavy favorite, and not only that, they're contenders for that #1 spot. They think they are #1 female team in the world, so these kinds of rounds, you can't afford to just give up like this. I mean, they were perfectly set up for that double pump, as you called it.
Look,
and
Chad
that double pump
that.
should have worked. It actually should have worked. They had the perfect scenario. Jennifer made it all the way to that marketplace before she got picked off. All CLG Red need to do is just pause. Stop making noise. Allow Kath and Emmy to do their job towards that A and actually sell that fake. Make the players rotate and leave out of B. Manipulate those rotations. Then take your advantages. But a little overzealous, and they get punished for it.
And it was Benny really doing a lot of the punishing there with that AWP. So she's going to be sat over towards A, and that's where the vast majority of this hit's going to come through. Now, Benny, let's see if she's up to the task here. 3 through ramp, but that looks so close to hitting, but there's still a play towards Palace. The utility being put down towards CT, playing in Bouchard a little bit here. Good kind of hold back on the utility, and a win out in mid is big. That means it can really be just funneled in here. The T side have to win these duels now. Cat succeeds on hers. You see Emmy come up with the goods, but Benny's still there. She has not been moved out of this position. Kind of able to get away with murder in this. Diane's got the bomb over towards jungle as well. Maybe there's room to be had. They've kind of hit the brakes here a little bit on the T side. Maybe trying to find the extra pick, bring it back to that 2v2. But the bomb plant coming in, Kath needs to keep Diane safe, and it's retake time.
They're down to 1 smoke and 1 Molotov. I think Kath and Diane need to use this flash to try to get a pick, either isolate CT spawn or isolate that jungle side, and that flashbang, unfortunately, is not going to do much for her. But they do have a somewhat... This is a good crossfire. This could actually work out for CLG Red.
Let's see, there's still so much utility on Miss Harvey, though.
That Molotov.
And it's down to a 1v1. Miss Harvey up against Kath, and it is going to be Miss Harvey playing it off so well. Waits on the molly, precision is key, and the defuse comes in. And again, CLG Red, yes, the round was close, but they're just starting to look a little bit sloppy at times. There's moments where we're starting to see that panic setting in, and I'm getting worried here.
I wouldn't say I'm getting worried yet.
When do you get worried? Like, look at the money here.
Not
like,
worried yet. Yeah, no, I mean...
Yeah, no.
I did like CLG Red's crossfire there. We have to remember they were down members. They were down numbers. They got the bomb down, and they were in that post-plant scenario. Now, they did lose it, but they made it really close. And as I said, these ladies are preparing for the semifinals. They're preparing for the finals. They're preparing to be #1. So practice makes perfect. Being able to make those rounds close, it really bodes well for CLG Red. But unfortunately, they do lose that one out. And you're right. They are low on that money. And it is getting closer and closer.
Oh, Claudia. Claudia has no idea what she's about to walk in on. The 1-for-1 trade is not good enough in this situation. Emmy's now going to get a wonderful upgrade onto that M4. I didn't try to see that in mid. I don't think she did. Now she does, though. And this is way closer than expected. Look at Jennifer's progress. That's going to cut off that connector player instantly. This is a really nice punish right back at him. And Benny's cut off from this. And Askew is a mile away. It's basically on Benny here.
It is, but you know, she's in a good position here. She needs to be a little more proactive and peek a little bit deeper towards that A, towards that connector site, utilize her op. They only have pistols, but seems like she has a bit of a misread or a miscomm. She's headed towards that jungle market area. And oh man, Jennifer is in such a good spot here to punish Benita.
Oh my God, Benny almost had it, and this isn't a clean pickup either. Benny should be dead here. She is now. Jennifer going to be able to upgrade as well. This is a really good punish from CLG Red to take things right back into their hands. Put them on 15 rounds, put them back on track.
And it's going to be so important for Mascu to save her gun here. I mean, they are literally down to $14.50 is the most, and Benita has $0 in the bank. So for the last round in this map, they're going to be on, they're just scraps,
It does look like they've come to their end here. And you've got to feel that if Claudia was a little bit more careful towards middle, just misreading the play a little bit there, giving up those first trade kills. It does come through 15-8. CLG Red back on track, regaining things in one of those rounds that you said stylistically they are known for their pistoling, their capability with it, their ability to really deliver on this, and Jennifer finding great deals of room there.
Great deals of room indeed, and I gotta mention that these mid pushes from the CT side on both sides of things, from CLG Red and Forever21, it seems like each player, whether it be Claudia or Kath, they're both kind of overextending just a little bit too much, and they're not utilizing their opera that's in that window room. So when they look at this VOD, they're gonna have to realize this for themselves, but Emmy should get some free kills here.
Yeah, Jennifer's turned around, so the support distance is there. Nice play from Kath to be aware of the push. CT-sided aggression was duly read, duly noted. And now it is down to 2 players. Make it just 1 for the CT side. CLG Red back on track, looking good here. Looking way crisper. And it is going to be at least a little bit of damage done, but you've got to go big here, or it's GG, at least on the first map. And there it is, Goose Breeder to seal the deal. A good scoreline for CLG Red. There are issues, but we're being critical just because, you're a judgmental old ex-game in-game leader, you know what I mean? You can be, but that was a really good game in the end, pulled together. And I've got to say, Emmy, again, that fragging power really coming to the forefront as well.
Absolutely, and I mean, we did talk about it being a little bit sloppy, but CLG Red, they're on a high right now. They've got to capitalize on this momentum and just close this out 2-0. And for Forever21 side of things, they have to realize that each of these rounds was close. They kept CLG's money very just borderline, almost at 0 consistently. So just look at the positive side of things for Forever21, I suppose.
Yeah, going into Nuke, let's see if they can hold on to those positives, Christine. I'm not sure if they can. We'll be back in just a moment's time after the break. We'll be jumping into map 2.